All right, so apparently this guy, Stuart Varney, is still hosting a show over on Fox Business. He's the most pompous, arrogant man you've ever heard in your life. He's living proof that just because somebody has a British accent, that does not mean they're smart, okay? Because that's a classic American thing. Oh, he sounds so sophisticated. He has a British accent. No, don't fall for it. Stuart Varney's a dumbass. So anyway, he comes out. He's going to do this whole little rant here where he says, hey, you know how Biden has a super low approval rating that's almost historically low at this point? It literally is historically low at this point. I know who to blame for that. Bernie Sanders.
So Bernie Sanders is a socialist. He was close to being the Democrat.
By the way, the sound is sort of iffy because just case study QB, this is the way the audio came out. So just bear with it. You'll be able to see what he says.
Democrats nominee for the presidency in 2020. Well, now, as chair of the Senate Budget Committee, he's a leader of the progressive movement. He wants the president to change course. He went on CNN to say young people and most Americans are not excited by what's going on in the world today. Oh, you can say that again. All Democrats are running scared of the president's deteriorating position. A late-breaking ABC News poll shows the president severely underwater among key groups and on key issues. Only 18% approve of his handling of immigration. The border has become as important as the economy. Only 26% approve of his handling of Israel's war on Hamas. He has just 31% approval among women, 28% among among independents. And overall, Biden's approval rating, this is overall, it has sunk to a new low, just 33%. That's it. It is ironic that Bernie Sanders wants the president to change course. It was Sanders who pushed the progressive policies that have failed. It is progressives who support Hamas, progressives who push the very expensive war on fossil fuels. The left seized control of Biden's government right from the start, and now we can see the results. America is a different place now to what it was 3 years ago. The open border, the decline of our cities, our standing in the world. Biden won't change course, but a new president certainly would. Senator Sanders should be careful what he wishes for.
That's incredible. So in other words, yeah, Biden's doing poorly. Blame Bernie, because Bernie set the agenda and Biden implemented it, and that's why he's so unpopular. Let me count the ways in which this makes absolutely no sense. So first of all, the massive implosion in his polling numbers, when did it happen? Oh, that's right. It happened as soon as Biden gave a green light to Netanyahu to do an ethnic cleansing and a genocide of Gaza. Our money and our weapons went to the IDF as they destroyed all of northern Gaza. They wiped it off the map and no longer exists. Killed 12,000 children, 28,000 innocent civilians. That's when his standing among Arab Americans, Muslim Americans, and young Americans absolutely fell off a cliff. So the real issue there's not, oh my God, Biden's being too progressive. No, the issue is he's being a genocidal warmonger who's green-lighting a historic atrocity. That was the biggest problem. So that narrative is totally bogus and now totally busted. And the other thing is, what else led to, there was a turning point where his numbers really started declining and never recovered and fell off even more with what's happening in Gaza. But the starting point of the decline was after the expanded social safety net programs went away. So we had an expanded social safety net during COVID because we needed it. People needed more cash assistance in order to get by. In fact, you saw an increase in earnings for poor and middle-class Americans for a brief period there. Why? Because of the expanded social safety net. Because of the expanded child tax credit, for example. All these things had a sunset provision. And as soon as the pandemic era ended, in the sense that they got rid of the emergency authority for that, boom, all of these extra programs which help people financially, they went away. And that is also when his polls started to decline massively. Because people went from feeling like, hey, I'm okay, I can pay the bills, I can take care of my stuff, I'm good. They started going, oh my God, I can't pay the bills. I'm living paycheck to paycheck. I can't afford to start repaying these student loans, right? And so that's what happened. So those are the two biggest things which led to the recent collapse. Both of those things are decidedly not progressive. They are not left-wing. They are not socialist. They're both right-wing ideas. Backing a far-right government as they massacre people, that is not left-wing. Taking away social safety net programs, that is actually the definition of austerity politics, of a right-wing economic approach. Hey, total free market, forget giving people help, have no social safety net or a meager social safety net. So what policies are you talking about? Look, it'd be one thing if Biden did a $15 minimum wage, did the PRO Act, so now people have a right to a union and there's way more unionized workers, did universal health care, or at the very least a public option. If Biden did all of those things, and then when Netanyahu started bombing Gaza relentlessly, he said, no more money, no more weapons for you, and we're going to condemn you through the UN, and we're going to sanction you if you continue. If you drop one more bomb, we're going to sanction you. If Biden did all of that, and his approval rating was still abysmally low, then you'd have the ability to say, yeah, maybe this is, he did all these progressive things, and it didn't, and his numbers went down. Then it'd be fair to make that point. He hasn't done progressive things. When did Biden have his highest approval rating? It was early in his time in office. He had either a 52 or 54% approval rating. It was immediately after they gave a green light to $1,400 checks that go to the American people. A stimulus check in the midst of the pandemic. That was when his approval rating was the highest. It was 52 or 54%, which for the modern era, with how partisan we are, that's phenomenally high. Oh, gee, would you look at that? When he did the left-wing thing of giving people money, they were like, hey, we kind of like this guy. We kind of like this guy. Since then, like I said, the two biggest things, green-lighting Netanyahu's slaughter of Gaza and getting rid of the pandemic-era social safety net expansions, that's what led to the downfall. And so, by the way, when Bernie Sanders says he needs to change course, to be fair, Bernie was pretty bad on Gaza early on. He's gotten a little bit better recently. He wants to cut off any more weapons and money going to Israel. That's good. But when Bernie says that, what he means is, for the love of God, you got to do something for working people, or you are going to get blown out. So, again, look, they have one response to everything on Fox Business Network. Stuart Varney, a.k.a. Thurston Howell III, has one response to everything. It is left-wing bad, progressive bad, socialist bad, money for regular people bad, bottom-up economy bad. This guy wants to give all the power, all the money to the plutocrats and the oligarchs and the capitalists. That's what he wants to do. And he will square peg, round hole a narrative all day to try to make the case. All the woes, all the bad things in the world are because of Bernie Sanders and his ideology. And the problem is Joe Biden went too far left. Joe Biden is nowhere near left in any way, shape, or form. I mean, early on in his time in office, he did some things that were pretty good, and that's when his approval rating was the highest. As soon as he stopped doing those things and started going in a further right-wing direction, wow, would you look at that? His support falls off a cliff. So he got the diagnosis exactly incorrect. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.